Whispers beyond the veil. The moon hung low over the desolate graveyard, its dim light casting long shadows across the crooked tombstones. A faint mist crept between the graves, and the air crackled with an unseen energy. Madame Lenora, cloaked in black, her lantern in hand, whispered a soft incantation. "You think this will work?" came a gruff voice from behind her. It was Elias, the skeptic gravedigger who'd reluctantly joined her. "Patience, Elias," Lenora replied, her voice calm but sharp. "The spirits don't respond to doubt." Elias crossed his arms, muttering, "Or they don't respond at all." Lenora ignored him, kneeling before an ancient gravestone etched with runes. She placed a candle at its base, lighting it with a flick of her wrist. The flame burned an eerie blue. Suddenly, the wind picked up. A low hum filled the air, and shadows began to shift unnaturally. Elias took a step back. What's happening?" "Sure," Lenora hissed. "They are coming." A faint figure materialized before them, its translucent form writhing like smoke. "Who disturbs my rest?" the spirit demanded, its voice echoing unnaturally. Lenora rose to her feet. "Madame Lenora, medium of the living and dead. I seek counsel." The spirit studied her, its hollow eyes glowing faintly. "Counsel comes at a price." "What kind of price?" Elias interjected, his voice trembling. Lenora shot him a glare. "Quiet." Turning back to the spirit, she said, "Name your terms." The spirit pointed a skeletal finger toward Elias. "The one who doubts. His memories of love." Elias froze. "Wait, what?" No. "I'm not part of this," Lenora raised her hand, silencing him. "That's not your decision, Elias. Do you agree to the price, or shall we send it away? You can't just. Do you agree?" Lenora's voice was like steel. Elias hesitated, then nodded reluctantly. "Fine. Take whatever you need." The spirit reached out, and Elias stumbled back as if struck. His eyes widened, his lips parted in shock. Then, just as quickly, the connection broke, leaving him gasping for air. "It is done," the spirit said. "Speak your question, medium." Lenora steadied her lantern. "What lies beneath this graveyard? Why does it hum with restless energy?" The spirit's face twisted in anguish. "Beneath the soil lies a gateway, cracked and broken. It leaks the souls of the damned. They wander, seeking vessels." Lenora's brow furrowed. "A gateway to what?" "To nothingness." Lenora stood in silence, her mind racing. Elias clutched his chest, staring at her with a mixture of betrayal and fear. "Is it sealed?" she asked the spirit, her voice low. "Not fully," it replied. "The crack widens. Soon, the living and the dead will merge." Elias stumbled forward. "You knew about this, didn't you? That's why you're here." Lenora didn't respond, instead focusing on the spirit. "What must be done to close it?" The spirit shook its head. "Blood was spilled to open it. Blood must be spilled to seal it." Elias paled. "You're not seriously considering, I don't have a choice," Lenora interrupted. "If it's not closed, the world will drown in chaos." "Whose blood?" Elias asked, his voice barely a whisper. The spirit pointed toward Lenora. "The blood of the one who speaks to us." Lenora's lips tightened, but she gave no indication of fear. "I'll do what's necessary." "No!" Elias shouted, grabbing her arm. "There has to be another way. You can't just—" Lenora pulled free, her eyes burning with resolve. "I've lived my life in service to the dead, Elias. If this is the price, I'll pay it." Before Elias could protest further, Lenora drew a dagger from beneath her cloak, the blade glinting in the moonlight. "There's still time to reconsider," the spirit said, its tone almost sympathetic. Lenora shook her head. I've made my choice. Tell me what to do. Stand at the heart of the graveyard, the spirit instructed, and spill your blood upon the soil. The gateway will close, but your soul will be trapped. Lenora took a deep breath, stepping toward the center of the graveyard. Shadows swirled around her, and the ground beneath her feet seemed to pulse. Elias ran after her, grabbing her shoulders. You don't have to do this. I do, Lenora said softly. You've seen the spirits. You know what's at stake. But your soul, it's a small price for the peace of many, she interrupted. Elias stood frozen as Lenora raised the dagger. Take care of the living, she said, her voice carrying both sadness and hope. With a swift motion, she plunged the blade into her palm, letting her blood drip onto the earth. The ground trembled violently, and a deafening roar filled the air. Lenora's form began to fade, her figure dissolving into the swirling mist. Lenora! Elias shouted, but it was too late. The gateway sealed with a final pulse of energy, and the graveyard fell silent. Elias dropped to his knees, clutching the empty lantern she'd left behind. I'll never forget, he whispered to the night. And from the shadows, a faint whisper replied, neither will I.